Hi guys, I wanted to talk about my spiritual practices because they are such a huge part of my life. Some of these take just a couple of seconds, others might take a little while longer, but they are all huge components of my daily life and they've all helped me tremendously. So yeah, I know that somebody on my Unite live group course asked me to kind of share my spiritual practices as they want to delve a little bit deeper into their own spirituality, which I'm totally on board with. And yeah, so I want to share a lot about what I do. Um, and spirituality for me did not come easily, it did not come immediately either. As I come from a science background, my kind of evidence based thinking needed to shift into this mindset of even if you can't see it, even if you can't feel it, it doesn't mean that it's not there. So I now embrace the subtle body, I embrace the subtler parts of our mind, perhaps the things that you can't see in an MRI but science still can't explain, like our intuition and other things like that. I really do believe that we do not know half of what we are capable of. And I believe that, yeah, there's some guiding, balancing force out there that is keeping everything balanced and guided. Whether or not you believe that or not is completely up to you. These spiritual practices are open to anybody, no matter what your religious or belief systems are. And I encourage you to try and embrace at least one of them. So, yeah, number one, movement practices are huge for me for my spirituality. Obviously, as a yoga teacher, I have a very consistent yoga practice. And yoga for me has definitely been a constant in my life for quite a few years now, many years in fact. And yeah, it's become this kind of creative, free-flowing movement practice that I don't need to think, I don't need to worry, I don't need to go through my mental to-do list. I can just flow, connect to my body, connect to my breath. And in that way, it's a total movie meditation for me. So I love movement practices that are creative, that are free flow, that you can free form, that you don't have to think, you just move without even kind of intentionally doing anything. And yoga and dance, for that matter, as well, are pretty big ones for me in that respect. I also absolutely love pranayama. I mean, as anybody who knows about a lot about yoga, you'll know that asana, the physical postures we make on a mat, they're only a tiny little element of the overall yogic umbrella, so to speak. And in fact, according to Patanjali in the Yoga Sutras, one of the most loved and respected books of the yoga tradition, he says that there's 8 limbs of yoga. Is that 8? Yes, it is. And asana, our physical postures, are only one limb. So pranayama, breath work, is a whole other limb. And it's something that I absolutely adore doing. Pranayama is breath work. I love Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing, and I will be sharing a video on that soon, so watch this space. I also love just simple breath practices as well. Maybe it is counting your breath in and out, whether it is counting 4, 3, 2, 1 with every inhale and exhale to slow your breathing down. So journaling and meditation are other aspects of my life, my spiritual life. Okay, I don't do these every single day, but I try and do them most days. And I adopt a kind of, depends on how much time I have, I either do a 20-minute yoga, 20-minute meditation, 20-minute journaling in the morning, or if I'm a bit pushed with time, I might cut down to 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes of each. So that's yoga, meditation, and journaling. And yeah, journaling, especially first thing in the morning, just free writing is such an amazing way to figure out actually what your real goals are. Figure out what's going on in your mind that you're not even necessarily aware of, and just really helps you to get your thoughts down on paper. I don't know about you, but I have like this swirl of thoughts around my mind a lot of the time, like most of us, I'm sure. And I find that getting this down on paper, or even sometimes typing this out, is just so helpful to just identify what's going on, these thought patterns, these mindsets, and then try and see if we can find solutions whilst we write. Another amazing way to harness your spiritual energy and to get a little bit more spiritual is to read. And it doesn't have to be spiritual or philosophical books all the time, although I can definitely recommend a hell of a lot of those. I also find just reading fiction and relaxing with a book with no distractions is such a great way to relax, unwind, take care of ourselves. And in this way, we're really embracing our need to slow down and take care of ourselves, which is great for our spiritual practices, in my opinion. I also love reading different yogic philosophy books. In fact, I'm reading 2 books at the moment. One is not actually yoga, it's based on Buddhism, the Dhammapada. It was given to me by a good friend of mine for my birthday, thank you Nina, and I'm absolutely loving it for it's just little nuggets of wisdom. And the other book that I'm actually scared to open, but it's been on my desk, it's quite old. You can see it's like bound by sellotape. It was actually a book that belonged to my grandfather, my dad's dad, and when he passed away, all his book collections went to my aunt. And I didn't even know that he had a book literally on yoga. And when my aunt found it, and when she realised that we kind of reunited a couple of months ago, we hadn't seen each other for ages, we got to meet up and have a good catch up, and she sent me this book. And it is such an awesome book, all about the science of breath, pranayama. And I really can't wait to get more invested in that. Also, I recommend checking out some books by Gabrielle Bernstein. She's amazing and such a spiritual leader. There's also A Course in Miracles, which is what Gabby's teaching is actually based on. There's so many. Eckhart Tolle is another great author. And Thich Nhat Hanh, I think that's how you say his name, he has so many amazing, powerful, poignant books, and I really recommend you check them out. Every morning, I try and do some positive affirmations and set my intentions for the day. This does not take long at all. My intentions for the day are, I always ask myself the same question every morning, and that is, how do I want to feel today? Simple question, but it has such a huge impact on my life. Maybe some days I'll be like, I just want to feel calm. Other days I want to feel empowered, or I want to feel like I can take on the world, you know? It just depends on the day, but I try and reflect back on this intention during the day and see if I'm meeting it, see if it still serves me, see if I need to change it in any way, or see what actions I can actually take to achieve and meet that intention. And positive affirmations, again, I do this every morning along with my intention setting. And I have a few very personal phrases that I use in the present tense. I am this, I am that, I feel this, you know, that kind of statement. It's best to say your positive affirmations in the present tense, like that you are embodying that state of being right now. So positive affirmations are huge for me. I try and do them every morning. And this is really helpful for me to feel more grounded, more centered around living my life how I want to live it. And yeah, just moving and being and breathing with more intention throughout the day. I also have a gratitude practice that I do every evening. I try and just list 3 different things that I am grateful for, or that I have been grateful for throughout the day. It can be huge, it can be tiny, and there's a lot of science, coming back to the science, that's out showing that having this positive mindset, having these gratitude practices, stating in my positive affirmations, it has a huge impact on how positive or how negative you feel in the day. So the more often you establish a gratitude practice, and the more you state these positive affirmations, it actually rewires your brain to feel more positive. And then just a couple of other things. I try and limit my phone time before 7 a.m. and after 8 p.m. I have a love-hate relationship with my phone in the sense that I completely confess that I spend too much time scrolling, and I'm desperately trying to cut that down. And yeah, in addition to that, I try and have maybe 10-15 minutes a day where I put my phone away, I put my laptop away, I'm not even on my yoga mat, I don't have a book in my hand, I just sit and breathe, not even focusing necessarily on my breathing. And I allow what's been going on in the day just to break down, to assimilate, and just kind of reflect. It's so relaxing. I feel so much more stable, more calm, more grounded afterwards. And it's just, it gets you a chance to get all this mental thoughts and swirls and whatever's going on in your mind, just get it to slow down and to process it and figure out what's actually going on in your head. And lastly, the other thing that I do regularly to help with my spirituality is to have a creative outlet. Because this, again, enables you to take time away from your screens, away from this idea of trying to achieve things for the sake of achieving them. My creativity, I like textiles, macrame, do a bit of weaving every now and again. I like creating arts. Nothing major, nothing fancy. I'm definitely not going to be putting them on Etsy. In fact, sometimes I don't even put them up in my house. But it's just for the sheer joy of creating for creation's sake. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, let me know below. If you like what you saw, feel free to give me a subscribe. I would really appreciate that. There's plenty more videos like this coming. Have a beautiful day, guys. Speak to you soon.